Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this week's section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. This should be on the YouTube channel, James13 Wicca, just in case you're seeing it somewhere else. What else was I going to say? The cards and dice that's listed below. I think that's pretty much what I got for you. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. With no further ado, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? Aries is not usually a fan of that card, but you got the 7 of Swords showing up later with the 4 of Wands, which I don't know exactly what we're doing with that right now. That's not usually a card Aries is a fan of. So I think of Aries as self-sufficient anyway. So there's certain things that you're dealing with that you are very much, this is how I feel, this is how I do it. Aries can be very strategic. Especially if it's a work situation, you may keep things to yourself on certain aspects because you don't want to give somebody the advantage to manipulate the situation. Okay. So whatever this is, there's certain things you keep very much to yourself. Not because you're trying to get the jump on somebody else, but just because you're not going to give somebody else the advantage on you. That's what I'm getting with that. And I feel like I'm very careful about what I will and won't do with a situation. It depends on how you feel about it. But it's like, I feel like I've kept it very strong and very tight with like certain things I just keep to myself. Is there anything else with that? I keep seeing somebody, and I remember like they would use personal time for whatever they wanted to. And they would never explain what they were using it for. Sometimes it was just to go visit somebody. Or maybe to go have a day going to like the mall or the movies or whatever it was. But the way they looked at it is like it's their personal time. And they never explained what they were going to do, but I remember them telling me stuff. We were just, they would just tell me stuff because they wanted to. I don't know why we're going there, but whatever that means. You got this under control is what I got. And you're very careful about what you will and won't say. And I keep getting like, if it's my time, why do I have to validate to you why I use my time? I'm not letting you play that game with me. Because the Justice card comes in. It's kind of like, if this is mine, I have the right to use it as I see fit, not as you see fit. I don't get $50 in my pocket and then you decide where it's going. I get $50 in my pocket, I decide where it's going. I'm just not going to even let you know it's there. That way you don't get a chance to decide or to think you're going to get a hold of something. That way it's not even an issue. I don't even have to fight with you over it because I don't even let you know it's there. But it's for me anyway, so you don't get a say anyway. And instead of having to fight over it, I just keep that information to myself. Okay. I feel like this makes good sense. I think like there's no reason to have issues just to have issues. Especially if certain people are just going to look for their moment, not even going to give them their moment. And that's just how it is. I feel like I've gotten used to a certain way of dealing with things. This situation, it does not seem like it's new to me. It's something you may have been dealing with for a while. It may also be something that you're succeeding through, but you're not happy with. Okay. Succeeding through, but not happy with. Because I keep getting like, I don't like the idea that I have to manage this other person. I don't like the idea that I have to keep certain things to myself because this other person's just looking for their moment to try to manipulate me or try to get something that's mine. And I feel like, again, I'm succeeding through it, but I don't like it. I don't like how this is playing out. This is not okay. What is that? Ace of Swords is coming in like the weather. It's heading towards the future. On the large dice, you got the Lover's card right side up. The smaller dice, you got the Four of Cups reversed. So the Four of Cups, when it's right side up, it's like most things are good with it, but there's one point of contention. When it's reversed, it's kind of saying there's a lot here that's not going right, but one thing is going to go right. So when it's reversed, it's kind of like, overall, the situation not so good. But this one thing here, this one thing to my advantage, I'm getting the most out of that. That's how I read the Four of Cups reversed, just to be fair. Whoever is pulling whatever they're pulling or whatever they're playing, something is upsetting the apple cart on that. And I feel like something is coming forward full blast. Like, whatever they're trying to manipulate for you or possibly even other people, they're getting exposed in a way that, like, they have no right to do that. Maybe they had no right to do that to begin with. Maybe they just thought they did, and now they're being exposed, like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Or maybe, like, for example, you have $50 in your pocket. They think they should have the right to tell you how to spend it. Meanwhile, they're failing in the way that they're spending their own money. Or maybe they have more than enough that they don't need to be pulling from other people. Something like that. Something is coming forward exposing this energy. And I feel like when I first get that information, I don't like it. And then, because I'm not seeing how that benefits me. I don't know. However this is coming in, at first blush, it's like, oh, you're going to call that person out, but they're going to go right back to doing it anyway. I feel like that's how I'm taking it. Like, oh, sure, call them out. I mean, we know that they shouldn't be doing that, but they're going to go right back to doing it anyway. And I feel like that's how I'm reacting to it. Like, yeah, all right, yeah, we know they're not supposed to do that, but they do. You calling them out, that's fun. That's fun. That's great. But it doesn't matter. They don't seem to have any repercussions for doing it anyway. I keep getting that energy here. Yet, this fell out of the deck. The King of Pentacles reversed is like something's getting broken down, and it's going down to its very base, like what is it actually made of, what's actually happening here. Everything's getting stripped away from this situation. This might be one of those moments where maybe people are getting their just desserts. I don't know. Let's go a little farther here. That dice just likes to go all the way around the world, I swear. The Moon card, but it comes in like this. Not everything is going to be exposed, but some of it. So, like, the Moon card, half in, half out, is like some things are mystery, but not everything. 50-50 probably, maybe 40-60, depending on what you're dealing with. Somebody's coming in and trying to rebalance the situation and trying to reset. Either reset or realign the rules. Reset or realign. Depends on your situation. Kind of like, no, that's really not allowed. And if that happens again, this is going to happen. Could be one of those things. Ace of Cups, same way. This way is kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of like, all right, well, we'll see. I'd love for that to be the case, but we'll see. I'll give it a chance, but we'll see. I feel like you're kind of like, yeah, well, if it actually plays out that way, okay. I love the idea, it sounds good, but until I see it actually happen, we'll see. A lot of energy coming in, a lot of talky, which sometimes can aggravate Aries. If we have a lot of talk, but not a lot of action, that does seem to really aggravate Aries. If there's going to be a lot of talk, there has to be a lot of action to back it up. And I dare say that I think Aries prefers more action than talk. We should talk about things a little bit, talk about what we need to do, and then do it. Spend more time doing than blabbing on about it. There's a lot of talky going on here. Talky. And I feel like the more talking happens here, the more I'm like, nothing's going to change. We're just going to talk ourselves blue in the face and nothing's going to change. I don't think that's what's actually going to happen, but it seems like that's what it feels like. Kind of like, yep, we're talking about it forever. Nothing's going to change. We're just going to talk about it forever. I don't see that actually happening. What I get is like some people are trying to get out of things. Some people are trying to cover their own butts is what's going on here. They're trying to get out of being accountable for certain things. It's more about from this point forward. Should they get away with certain things? Absolutely not. But this is a reading. It's just more about what's happening versus I don't have any control about what's happening. It's just, they're just showing me what's going on here. People are trying to talk and talk and talk and talk until they feel like they're safe. We don't have to do anything. It's probably more beneficial to start from this point, moving forward, moving correctly. It's easier, it's more successful that way. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying that seems to be where we get the most strength from this and we get the most out of it. If we move from this point forward, there's more to this. This point forward, as long as there's no more errors. If we keep moving from this point forward and some people start repeating things, we're going to then research that. So maybe somebody was stealing from the cookie jar. We're going to do that. Every Thursday, 3 cookies were missing from the cookie jar. Every Thursday, 3 cookies were missing from the cookie jar. And somebody doesn't want to be accountable for that. It's kind of like, all right, you know what? What we'll do is like, we're just going to keep an eye on the cookie jar from here forward. But if somebody gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar, we will then look at their history with the cookie jar. And then anything they did in the past will then hold against them. But if they go from this point forward and they keep their hands out of the cookie jar, they don't have to worry about it. But if they get caught, we're going to look at everything that happened from this point previously that we can find. That person will be under the microscope. Does that make sense? I do feel like that puts pressure on the right people. Because if like somebody gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar and they're like, I've never done it before. Well, we can see you've never done it before, but still you can't do that. Versus like somebody gets their hand caught in the cookie jar and they're like, you've been doing this for months. And it's been every week for months. We don't think you should be working here anymore. I'm just saying, I feel like this is how that's going to work out. It does seem like that. I've seen that played out in a professional sense before, which I don't know. I feel like if this is the case, they already know. If that's happening, they already know. They're just giving people best chance, and they're just kind of like, well, if you do it one more time, you're proving that you can't control yourself and you shouldn't be here. So that's that. I don't know. I feel like there was a legal reason for that when I've seen it play out, but I don't know what's going on here. It's a general read. There are still a couple. There's going to be still a couple people here that you're not going to really care for. The world is not perfect. You're not going to get rid of all of them. I don't know what to say about that. There's going to be people here that are part of this situation that seem to thrive going forward, to where I feel like I'm looking at it like, yep, they kept doing it as long as they got away with it. But once they realized that the jig was up, then they all of a sudden are towing the line, but they got away with all that, and I don't like that. I'm not saying this is easy, but the reading is saying that's not going to take you anywhere. But I also keep getting like they already know. So even though there's people that seem to be sneaking away from the situation, maybe there's nothing on paper, but people know. And that is causing its own damage. You just may not see it. It is causing its own repercussions. You just may not see it. I think that's what they're saying with the... It does you better to let it go as best you can. Because it seems to me, like, as I keep looking at this, I feel like certain people are still getting away with things, and I don't think that's right. What is this? There's opportunities that are going to bring you closer to these people that I feel like you don't really care for. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? People need to prove that they can work well with you. I don't know what that's about. Some people need to prove that they can work well with you. They're trying to prove something. Be who you are, but like, play it strategically. Just do what you need to do. Do it as you're supposed to do, and just, if you don't really like somebody, you don't have to act like you do, but just make sure you don't show your discontent, which may be a challenge. I'm saying this knowing a few Aries over the years, and if you really don't like somebody, I feel like Aries, for most Aries anyway, it seems like your face says a lot. Keep things moving, get things done. Just keep, I've noticed that there's one I'm thinking of in particular. She didn't like somebody, but what she did to get around it was she just kept moving, kept going, this to that. She just kept very, very busy. And she got through it, and it worked out in her favor. I just remember that. Let the situation balance on its own. Things will work out. I keep getting like somebody seems to have to prove that they can work with you in some respect. Just get it done as fast as you have to, and just make sure you do a quality job that you're known for, and just let it go. I feel like that's asking a lot, but this definitely seems like one of those situations where behind the scenes it will balance out. You just may never see it. Not in this life, not during this life. I don't even know if that's helpful, or I don't know. I feel like I've had these readings, people give me these readings before, and I'm just like, I can relate to this, like not liking that, but just kind of going, there's no reason to let it hold me down, and trying to find a way to disconnect from it. I use Paul McKenna books. He's a British author. So it's up to you. Hopefully this is empowering in some sense. I feel like part of this is kind of like you have a lot of energy that can go in a direction that can serve you and build you up and bring you to places you want to be. This, putting your energy towards whatever this is, just drains your energy and does not enlighten your life, does not bring anything good into your life. And I keep getting like, you're not going to see where this balances out. It's going to balance out in its own way. You're just never going to see it. So I hope that's helpful. I can completely respect that can be frustrating. Hopefully it's not. So I can completely respect though that it could be. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.